Football Then and Now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us.
Good evening, this is Football Then and Now, episode 64. Tonight's episode is all the latest transfer news and also the latest stories as well. And I've got two returning guests to the show, and I've got Anthony, of course, Birmingham Aston Villa fan, right here with us. And then I've also got Ryan, who's returning after a Europa League final preview that we did with John, Man United fan. And just great to have you both on.
Nice to be here.
Loads of news, of course, loads of transfer speculation. I'm just going to go straight into it because we've got quite a bit to cover. Ryan, it is signed, sealed and delivered. We spoke about this weeks ago that it was happening, and it's Matheus Cunha, who has gone on a 5-year deal to Manchester United for 62.5 million. Just your thoughts. We'll open with this one.
I feel like people are going to be saying about Cunha what they say about Declan Rice about the whole we got him half price thing. I think this is an absolute steal for Man United. People are going to say it's expensive, and I get that, but Premier League proven is where I think a lot of clubs go wrong these days. They go abroad too often. Matheus Cunha has got the physicality that this midfield and the attack is lacking. He can go box to box, he can assist, he can score. He's got the tenacity. I love the shithousery he's got as well. Some people don't, but I think it's a bit of bite in his game. This was probably when I heard the rumour, one of those like, but we'll never get him anyway. Let's just hope. So I'm absolutely delighted to have Cunha. I think he's a really, really top player.
It's been amazing looking at him, on the goals front and the assist front. He's increased it last season, of course, on the previous season. I saw a lot of him at Leipzig previously. So, he's played in the Champions League and stuff like that. And as you say, he's got that grit. And he has got a nasty side to him, of course. But I think you'd be missing that. Tom, who I had on previously, he's a Man United season ticket holder. He says, we need that. That's what we need up there, don't we?
We absolutely do. We need more physicality. Like, you're looking at the midfield and like what I call it, the attacking midfield, the Amorim system. You've got people like Mainu trying to play in that position, Garnacho, Amad Diallo. Like, they're just not physical. Like, Matheus Cunha's not going to get bumped off the ball. Like, I've seen him do that little turn thing he does on the ball and just leave people for dead. But he uses that by backing in, using his body, using his strength. And it's just the vision for that position. He's perfect. Where does Cunha play at Wolves? It's almost like left forward / striker, but he's more box to box. So I think when you get the Ruben Amorim formation, the number 10 Ruben Amorim uses is perfect for Cunha.
Fantastic bit of business. Apart from Everton tomorrow, there's no question of that. And what are your thoughts on him going there? Wolves just up the road from you, of course, and just he's been fantastic. He's been very, very good this past season.
That's right, yeah. Wolves is just as close to me as Aston Villa, really. I was surprised, actually, that you managed to get him. I thought he would only go to you guys if you won the Europa. I thought, now you lost it. I was like, that deal's going to fall through. He won't go. He's gonna want to play for a team who's in Europe, some kind of Europe, and finishing where you finished. I was shocked. I was shocked that he's gone there. Now, okay, you actually did finish above Wolves because you beat us, didn't you, on the final day? So, but yeah, I don't know. Are you going to be able to sort out the attitude though? Because these bans that he's been getting, they've been getting longer and longer, haven't they?
With the attitude, I'm not sure if it's slightly overhyped. I've seen it in a few games where he loses his rag a little bit. But then look at Rooney, for example. Like, he was like, when he got told to calm down, he dropped off a bit. You've got to have that bite. You've got to have that energy. You've got to have that enthusiasm to get up the pitch and bash into someone and make yourself known. But going back to your earlier point, and yeah, absolutely agree with you. The minute we lost Europa, I thought a lot of signings were off the table. But Cunha, I saw in the press today with Jason Wilcox, the football director at Man United, he was talking about, his love for the club since he was a young child in Brazil, wearing the Man United shirt, watching all their games. His grandparents apparently watched a lot of them or something like that. He's loved Man United for years. And I think we're very fortunate with this particular player, but there's an affinity for this club in his heart. Because like you say, otherwise we probably would have missed out for sure.
Yeah, you guys seem to still have the pull, didn't you? Even finishing as low down as you did. It's still a club that a lot of players talk about, they dream about. You could say the same like Ferrari in Formula One. even though they weren't doing so well, people still want to go there. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
it's like
something about
American
wearing
football, as
red.
well, isn't it? So many American football teams that have fell off, and yet they're still the name, aren't they? They're the ones that people want to go to. It's like Brian Mbeumo as well. Just quickly to say, he's in the same position, from what I understand, desperate to come to United. Made that public announcement with his agent that he wants United. He wants them to bid. He doesn't want Arsenal. He doesn't want Chelsea. He doesn't want Tottenham. He wants United. And I was thinking, why? But as you say, it's still there. There's still that pull. And if you imagine replacing Garnacho and Bruno or Ahmad or Diallo or Xerxes or anyone like that, who I don't think fits a natural number 10. I think they've all kind of been shoehorned into this Amorim system a little bit. Imagine replacing any of those two with Cunha and Mbeumo. It's a completely new midfield, attacking midfield. It's like it's levels and levels above where we were.
Combine those stats from them two as well last season. That's
it's like 40 odd goals or something, isn't it? It's crazy.
It's just otherworldly for you, isn't it? Because you've been so threadbare up top, and there just wasn't enough goals coming from where, was it? It was Bruno carrying the can for a lot of it. People slag Bruno off at times, but look at his stats last season.
Delighted he's staying with us, Delighted he's staying with us, Bruno. He's so needed. I mean, it's not just his ability; it's his captaincy. Since he's had captaincy, he plays nearly every minute. He's never injured. He's like a robot. Like without him last season, I don't think the relegation fight would have been that far off. To be brutally honest, I really don't. I think he was standout last season.
Not to make it about Bruno, because we're going to have to move it along in a minute, but just briefly, what do you say when they're saying he's all over the place in that midfield? A lot of the pundits, a lot of the ex-pros.
Yeah, I totally get it, but just to be quick on this, right? Bruno Fernandes does roles of players that aren't capable of doing the role. So Garnacho goes to the wing all the time. He's meant to be in the number 10. Xerxes tries to go up front. He's meant to be in the number 10. And other midfielders like Ugarte and that can't pass the ball 2 yards, right? So Bruno is doing 5 or 6 people's roles. I think with Cunha and Mbeumo, if we had another midfielder coming in or something like that, and he could actually just do his role, you'll see that stop. I think he overcompensates for poor players. That's what I think.
It's fair comment. Absolute fair comment.
Just Bruno in goal, couldn't you, this season, I suppose, as well? He might have played there. A bit better than your keeper.
Well, I mean, I'm better than our keeper, so don't worry about that.
And I'm just going to move us on. Of course, we've heard that Kevin De Bruyne has finally moved on. Earlier on, when we were talking about him going, of course, Saudi Arabia was touted. He has gone to Napoli. He was linked with Napoli for a while now, wasn't he? It did look like it was going to happen. But that has been finalised today. Leaves Man City. The only thing with him, he's been fantastic. He was amazing for Belgium against my Wales the other evening as well. He was fantastic with Doku. I just think he gets injured too much. I've said that. As good as he's been for City over the years, he's had a lot of injuries. But Napoli, it will strengthen them, especially in the middle. Scott McTominay has been absolutely fantastic for them. And, you could say with him coming in, they could retain the title next season.
It's a massive signing for Napoli. I'm one of them Man United fans that can genuinely appreciate Kevin De Bruyne, despite him being on the blue side. His world level, he has been for years, like absolutely exceptional. Like there was a few years ago where he was without question the best midfielder in the world. Creative midfielder. I believe going to Serie A, it's a really interesting point about the injury record. Without the Premier League intensity, you watch him pick up less injuries in the Serie A, because that's what a lot of Premier players do. They adjust to the speed difference and the physicality difference. You could bring Scott McTominay back tomorrow and shove him back in a top 4 Premier League team. It would look as bad as he did at Man United. It's just it's the way they play in Italy. It's a different pace, and it suits certain players. And as you're getting older, it's a perfect match. You don't want to be seeing top players like that go to Saudi. I was always hoping that wasn't going to happen. If you still got legs, you go and play in Italy or Germany or Spain, or you just get out of the Prem and play somewhere else. Stay in Champions League, stay in top level football, stay in international football. And De Bruyne is just top player.
And your feelings on the move? Obviously, leaves City. He's won everything at City. He was there for such a long time. Chelsea let him go years ago. Went to Wolfsburg. That's what got him the move to City, essentially. He played really well for Wolfsburg years ago. But, so many years there and a great servant to Man City.
Yeah, I mean, like you saying there, Ryan, about him, still got the legs. I don't think he needs the legs. Put him on set pieces, his crosses, his corners. He doesn't need to do a lot of running, does he, anymore? So I was glad that he didn't go to Saudi. It's a shame to lose him from the Premier League. but he was never going to go to anyone else in the Premier League, was he? That's the only downside. But be interesting to see what they do at Napoli. I mean, they could do a bit of rotation. You know, they've just won the league without him. What can they do with him? You playing alternate games, maybe, or 60 minutes. He doesn't need to do 90, does he?
A good side. They're a really, really good side. Billy Gilmore's gone over there after having a lot of loans in his career. You know, he's always playing there now, and yeah, I like Napoli a lot. And Inter, you know, we're going great guns. Did they get swayed by the Champions League a little bit? They lost the plot, and Napoli went on to win it. You know, they became champions, and Conte with another trophy in the cabinet. He gets slated at times, but you know, the man has won trophies.
Just a very quick one, Stu, while you're on, while you mentioned Inter there, just for a moment, because I've not been on the channel since obviously the Europa League final. What happened in that Champions League final? I mean, PSG were just absolutely next level. I mean, they've been threatening that for years, and then the season they lose Mbappe, they do it. It doesn't make sense, but it happened, right? They were absolutely phenomenal in that.
They left the best till last, is what they did.
Absolutely.
I called the win for PSG. I didn't think it'd be 5-0.
No, I called it too. I did agree, but I didn't agree that. I thought it'd be a close game, but yeah.
Crazy. It was absolutely crazy on the night. And yeah, they deserved it in the end with the teams that they took out, you know, to get there as well. They were superb. Sorry, Anne. Let's have a look.
Should be banned.
Yeah.
In that case, I should Spurs and United.
George, you're coming on next week, mate. I'll read the comment out. Rise alluded to it. Højlund won't score more than 5 goals next season. I hope he doesn't end up at Everton off the back of that. And then we've got George again. Inter should be banned from the CL after their performance in the final. Yeah, I think a few people would agree with that one as well. I'm just going to move us along. Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold was unveiled at Real Madrid today, of course. Liverpool fans up in arms about it. He's been getting slagged off to high heaven from my mate. Oh my God, it's like 20 years of service and now you're giving him this. Oh, it's the end of the world, to tell you. But again, Madrid have got the pull. Players want to go there. I said all this to him. But he's not happy, my mate. But Trent going to Real Madrid, your thoughts, mate?
I don't understand the hatred that he was getting, you know, and he was getting booed, wasn't he, when he was coming on, with all the rumours circulating that he was going to go. But he still served the club, didn't he? He still put in a shift. He still ended up winning that one game, I think. Wasn't it the one where he was getting booed, that he actually got the winning goal? And, you know, he just wants a new challenge, doesn't he? You know, he's won the Prem now a couple of times with Liverpool. Just wants a new challenge, doesn't he?
I just couldn't believe all the comments. It's just crazy. He's won everything there as well, you know, to top it off. And again, Madrid have always had the pull. They've been able to get the players in, and he's gone. It's a steal, really, as well, isn't it, on their end?
I've got
Shame to lose him.
Confused with this one. I'm a little bit confused with the hate that this guy's getting, like Ant alluded to there. I mean, he's publicly said today when he was unveiled that he would only ever have left for Real Madrid. No one else. Cristiano Ronaldo left for Real Madrid. Like, you can't hold them back. They will sign who they want to sign. And what Liverpool fans don't understand is they've got a better player coming in his place. He can't defend at all. He can create chances, but he can't defend. And they've signed Jeremy Frimpong, who's, in my opinion, a better all-round player than Trent. So it's just for typical bin-dipping Liverpool fan knobs who can't accept one of their own players leaving. But it happens to everyone else in the world, and everyone else gets on with it. But yeah, there we go. So
yes, Trent is there. I've got to read George's comment out here. It's good. It's the fact he can speak fluent Spanish already. Well, there has been talk of this move for about 2 years. So he's obviously had an interpreter and he's been doing his lessons and stuff like that, leading up to it.
Even in night classes. You must have been doing some night classes.
Just don't end up like Joey Barton and Steve McLaren when they were trying to do Dutch and French on the things, like on the media and the conferences and stuff like that. It was hilarious. But yeah, again, it was coming. We knew that one was coming as well. And a story you've brought up, you've seen some reports, some rumours about Garnacho and Sancho being linked to Aston Villa. It was the first I'd heard of it. So yeah, just what you've seen and what you've heard in relation to that, mate.
I only seen this today. I don't know if I believe either, if I'm being brutally honest, but I thought obviously Chelsea were going to try and keep Sancho, but I've read that they don't want him. They want to ship him back to Man U. And Man U going to want to ship him out on loan again somewhere else, or is he finally going to settle at another club? I don't know. I mean, he's a good player. He actually did quite well for Chelsea, I thought, this season when he got the game time. I wouldn't mind having him.
What does Rye think about it?
I'm hoping they're both true and that you give us decent money and they can both go, to be honest. Firstly, with Sancho, and I know you said like you don't mind him, he played well at Chelsea. I mean, you don't want that player in your dressing room. Like, he's just a nightmare. Like, the things you hear as a United fan about Jadon Sancho and his little cliques with Rashford when he was there and refusing to play for certain managers and training late, and he's a nightmare. Like, you don't want him in a good oiled machine like Villa. Villa's one of the teams that, as a culture and as a team, I'm actually very envious of what you guys have created over the dysfunctional mess we've got. Jadon Sancho could go very far to ruining it. Garnacho, however, would be an amazing signing if you could get hold of him. I think he's criminally underrated. I really do believe that. I believe he's got talent to go to a very high level. The reason I want him out of Man United is he carries a lot of monetary value and we're doing a rebuild. And also, he does not have a place in Ruben Amorim's team. He's not a wing-back. He's got no defensive capabilities. And he's not a number 10 because he's tried it a few times and he can't play there. He always goes wide and leaves gaps in the pitch because he's a natural winger. But if you play with a natural out-and-out winger, like an old-school Ryan Giggs who hogs the sidelines and just gets crosses in, gets down there, cuts in and shoots, a bit like old-school Rashford, then Garnacho would be a dream player for a formation like that. So if you can accommodate him as a winger, then it'd be a great, great signing. And I think he'd really thrive at a team like Villa as well. He's ready for the Premier League at a high level. He's just not got the right team.
Yeah,
Sorry, carry on.
I was shocked that he weren't getting the starts, to be honest, for Man U. Now, he irritates me a little bit. I do think he's got a bit of attitude as well. But he's an amazing player. I've seen him play. I was up at Old Trafford on Boxing Day when we lost 3-2 to Villa. So when Villa lost 3-2 to them, sorry. And we were 2-0 up. And it was Garnacho who changed the game. He absolutely, I think he got, I don't know if he got the 2 goals and Højlund got the other one. If it was 2 for Højlund, 1 for Garnacho, but Garnacho was involved in pretty much all the goals that night. And, 2-0 up at half time. And that makes me not want him, but at the same time, I do respect.
He's a good player. It's just when you're playing a formation that doesn't accommodate out-and-out wingers, you haven't really got the room for him. And I don't want Amorim to change his philosophy or be bullied to change it, to wingers. And I want Amorim to play his system and buy players that suit his system, so he gets a fair chance, at the manager's job before people go he's a flop. So I'd happily sacrifice Garnacho, but only for a good fee, 40, 50, something like that.
I wanted to keep Rashford, but obviously losing that Champions League spot cost that, really.
Barcelona is the rumour there.
Yeah, I know he wants to go there as well, but I think if we'd have got into Champions League, we'd have been able to put the offer on the table, I think.
Possibly.
It was the amount of lost revenue, wasn't it? And not getting into the Champions League. Brady was telling me about it. He's a Villa fan, of course, as well. He said the amount of money you lost there, and then you're looking at FFP and PSR and stuff like that, aren't you? It's quite frightening, really, considering how well you've been doing.
Which obviously we'll get onto. We've probably got to make some sales in order to make and then we'll make some purchases to replace the players we're going to lose. Or hopefully not lose, but...
Right. Would I be right in thinking now, it's not my club, I see games, I see United games, I see highlights for the most part, of course. Would you agree Garnacho's a bit lightweight on the ball? I think he's lightweight, but you watch them week in, week out, you see it more than me. He comes across it, he gets knocked off the ball a bit too easy sometimes.
I'm going to answer this in 2 ways. There are games where I've watched Garnacho look like he can't stand up, and he's lightweight. And there's other games where I've looked like he wants to fight someone 3 times his size and he gets the better of them. So I'm a bit confused about what the actual situation is here. I don't know if it's like a motivational problem, a bit of a sulk occasionally. So we have sort of seen that in Garnacho's game. But he's a strong, agile, good dribbler. Like I say, in the right formation with a manager that really backs him, puts him on the pitch every week and puts his arm around him and says, you're my player, you're my winger, you get out there and perform. Well, I think he will become amazing. There's been talks about him on other United fan channels that he's in January, we were offered 70 mil for him by Chelsea from what I hear. And now we'll probably struggle to get 40. And it's so in hindsight, we should have just grabbed that Chelsea money. Really grabbed
anyone know, haven't they?
By now, we could have probably already bought a class striker with that money. So we should have grabbed that money. But you never know. At the time, Amorim was really backing him and giving him all the opportunities to prove himself. So you just never know. I mean, I know they've had that major fallout on the pitch after the Europa League final, which I don't agree with, as much as I think that Garnacho's got a right to say he wasn't happy with not playing. You're part of a squad, and if you don't play every game, you don't play every game, and you can't sulk about it at 21 years old. You're not the star yet. So there is maybe a little problem in the attitude, but I think a tough manager will irk it out of him. I'd have no issue with Emery getting him to behave himself.
Well, look what happened with Rashford.
Exactly
a lot of United fans were saying that. I said it on the show previous. They were saying, we'll pay his bus fare to go down to Birmingham. I was like, no, well, I'll go and pick him up, and look what happened. And I can't imagine that I can't imagine either of them two players wouldn't play for Emery. Both of them.
Well, if you can get Rashford to play for you, you can definitely get Garner to play for you.
Different tactics, different philosophies. It happens. You see it time and time again. And also me calling out Garnacho, saying he might be a bit weak on the ball. It's not sour grapes for that beautiful overhead kick he put in the season before. Listen, I was just waiting for Rye. Hold on a minute. You're not sour about that overhead kick.
No.
It was a beauty. It was a beauty. I've got to be fair to the guy. It was a hell of a goal, but yeah, he's got an attitude. There's no two ways about it.
But is it a real attitude, or is it a Cunha attitude, where he's just got a bit about him and a bit between the teeth? Because I like them type of players. I think we need that in the game. I don't think we need all this like, oh no, I can't foul no one. Like, we need to get stuck in. Like, one of the best midfielders in the world ever, in my opinion, Roy Keane, was a savage. Like, there's been talks that I've heard people say to me before, if you could have an old player back in your current 11, you'd have Rooney, you'd have Ronaldo. No, I'd have Roy Keane. Because that midfield is desperate for someone with a bit of bite. Like, we haven't got it. Like, he would shake that Man United team up. Like, we would finish with the squad we got now. I reckon guaranteed top 7, top 6 last year. We had Roy Keane in midfield, just because he would have made that whole team get off their own and do something.
100%. It was fantastic. He really was. Truly was. I just want to move on as well. You're getting linked with strikers. You spoke previously about a number 9 and needing a true number 9.
A number 1 position. We need it.
Yeah, you're desperate. You did say the other week, didn't you? Victor Osimhen, of course, and Victor Gyökeres being linked heavily. Out of those two, Ryan, who would you have? If I held the gun to your head and said you've got to have one of them, who would it be?
So what? I'm famous in my friendship group for saying I'll take a Victor. I don't normally give the surname, but I'll be honest. For me, Osimhen is better. But for Man United and Ruben Amorim, Gyökeres is better because it's Amorim's player, it's Amorim's formation. It's he's another player that will come in and help the rest of the players adapt to the Amorim style because he's been there before. I think if you've got Cunha and say Mbeumo, if they both come in, well, Cunha has, but obviously Mbeumo as well. If they come in behind a striker, that striker needs to know the formation that's being played. And I think if you've got Osimhen coming in as well, and all three of them are trying to learn the Amorim way on the job, it's going to look a bit messy for a few weeks at least. So for me, Gyökeres is who we need to go and get. But like I said to you earlier, Stu, just before we went live, I'm worried about Arsenal with Gyökeres. I think they're very serious about him. There's talks in Portugal today that both clubs have lodged an official offer to the agent for Gyökeres. And then there's also talks of Man United are pivoting to speaking to Osimhen's agent, probably because they're concerned they might lose out on Gyökeres. Some breaking news I heard a few hours before we went live as well about a new striker target. He's one that's been linked heavily to Chelsea and Liverpool, who now we are apparently entering the race for this afternoon, who is Hugo Ekitike, who plays in Germany, I believe.
Frankfurt.
Is it France he plays in?
Frankfurt. He's out.
Frankfurt, sorry, yeah. So in Germany, yeah. So
against Tottenham.
So I've looked at Ekitike and I've looked at the other two strikers, and I think we'd have to be judging them on 3 or 4 years' time if we want to give them a fair comparison. Ekitike is not ready. He's a young lad. He could do a Højlund. He's a young lad who shows potential. I don't want that. At the moment, we need to sign somebody who's got some about them. Like, for example, if Gyökeres went to Arsenal, Osimhen went to Saudi, and we were left with an Ekitike, go and get me a Mateta or someone. Go and get me a Premier League player that's got proof that he can do something in a higher league, because Ekitike doesn't float my boat, and he's rumoured at like 70 million euros or something. If we go and spend that on him, I won't be happy.
Osman, 31 goal involvements last season for Galatasaray. Of course, Victor Gyökeres, I think we spoke the other week as well about him. 53 goal involvements across the season. And a lot of them games were in the Champions League earlier on in the season as well.
It's crazy. Gyökeres is seriously on the numbers. The only thing about Osimhen and why I said I would personally go for Osimhen is because, as a Man United fan, you'll probably be quite surprised to hear about this, but one of my favourite Premier League strikers of all time is Drogba. And Osimhen reminds me of Drogba. He's got the aerial ability, he's got the physicality, he's got that, he can hold the line by himself, he can turn in behind and bully people, he's physically imposing. Gyökeres looks a little bit like Højlund in certain games. Now, I'm not saying he's anywhere near as bad, because he's not. He's got a finish on him like no man. But he's not Premier League proven yet. I mean, neither of them are. But I think when someone comes into the league who's got that raw physicality, it makes me more confident they're going to adjust to the Premier League. And I do really like the strength and the style of Victor Osimhen.
Look where Gyökeres was a couple of seasons ago. He was playing for Coventry.
He was. I'd say Championship physical. I mean, that's a point though, isn't it? Because I keep saying he ain't got physicality, but Championship football is as physical as it gets.
It's crazy to see how far he's come. We were linked, even we had no money and didn't have a pot to piss in at the time, but we were linked with him when he was at Coventry, and it was 15 million at the time, heavily linked. Like it was, but obviously with the financial stuff going on with Everton, I don't think it could have happened at the time. We were heavily linked with him. So I do really like him. Look what he did to City in that game in the league.
That was very impressive. That was. I mean, one thing I've just noticed here, when you've got them stats up on the screen there, is the amount of assists they've got each. And obviously, Victor Gyökeres has got more than double Osimhen's assists. Now, that to me makes me favour Osimhen even more, because we're going to bring in Cunha and Mbeumo and hopefully people that are going to create behind the striker. I don't want a striker that keeps dropping in and being the assist. We need someone that's just in the box scoring goals. And I think Osimhen's going to, as you can see by the stats, more likely to be in the box than assisting. And I want an out-and-out number 9.
Definitely. And Chelsea have been linked with Osimhen so much as well. Do you know what I mean? They've been constantly linked with him over the last 2 years, probably. So, yeah, it's interesting going forward. I mean, if you can get one of them and you've got Mbeumo, Gomez, Cunha, that front three's unreal.
This is why I want a number 9 who's a true number 9, because I think with them two coming in, you've got your support strikers, you've got your number 10s, you've got your creativity, and you've got to think that them two coming in is going to drop Bruno Fernandes into one of the 8 positions. So Bruno's job will be to get the ball as soon as possible into one of them, and then their job is to get the ball into a number 9. Now, if Gyökeres is assisting or going wide or doing what I've seen him do, which is play all across the front, he might not be in the box when we need him. And whereas I think Osimhen's just going to be stuck to that 6-yard box, and that's what we need.
Perfect. No, perfectly put, mate. We'll see what happens with that one when the window.
Any of them though, like we just need to sign someone of that level, someone exceptional, improving.
Absolutely, 100%. And we're going to move on to a player that ended up in Saudi Arabia, of course, earlier on in the year, and on loan. He could be available on loan. It's John Duran, not happy in Saudi Arabia. You'd read these reports, of course, heavily rumours and stuff like that. But we're going to pick it up, aren't we? And how would you feel if it became that he was back at Villa Park?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with what he did for us when he was with us, he was amazing. The goals that he scored. I mean, we spoke about it. I spoke about it with Chris and Brady the other week. But it's just mad to think that he'd be coming back so soon. It's obviously not working out over there. He just, I don't know if he'd get the game time again, though. That's the only problem coming to Villa. He was not getting the starts, but Watkins didn't really do as well as he'd done the season before. So maybe there could be a bit more rotation. We are in Europe still. So, maybe one guy should be for the Prem, one guy for Europe, or we alternate between the two. So you get a Prem start, you get a Prem start. Because it's been proven we can't play them both. It's been tried several times and it just did not work. And we tried it. It must have been 3 or 4 times, and it was dire. There was no consistency. No one knew who to pass to between the two of them. And as you were saying, Ryan, about your number 9s and stuff, Watkins does the same. He's not always in the box. He gets a lot of assists, which I'm happy with. Because someone like Rodgers is normally in the box to finish it off. And I'm happy with that. But John Duran, it would be in the box. That is the thing. If we could ever get them two playing together, we've got no problem. Watkins would be out on the wing. He'd get it in. John Duran would put it away. No doubt about it.
He's so athletic, that lad, and he's so strong. And, he was young. I couldn't get my head around that move. Me and Chris spoke about it when it was going on. It was just so daft because he scored against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, put that worldie in against us. I keep saying about goals going in against Everton and being amazing here, but
You're an Everton fan.
it was two beauties. I just did not understand it. Ivan Toney, to a certain extent, being like 28, 29, but then he was getting touted for close. But him being younger again, and he's gone there. He could have gone later on in his career, I felt.
Yeah, I mean, the interest was there, wasn't it, from... who else was after him? No, it wasn't Arsenal, was it? It was someone else in the Premier League was after John.
Arsenal did sniff around a bit. Arsenal did. They wanted either him or Watkins at one point, and I think they went more for Watkins in the end.
It was West Ham. West Ham were the ones who, I think he did the Hammers sign, didn't he? during the just before the one game, and then he went. I think he went and scored against them. Then and he's like, "I'm staying. But he had done I think online he'd done the Hammer sign, which obviously rubbed a lot of Villa fans up the wrong way. But I'd be happy to have him back. But again, he's another one, bit younger, bit of attitude. It seems to come with a lot of these younger players, doesn't it? Until they get a bit more experience and learn their craft a bit more. But for goals, mate, no doubt about it. We could do with him.
Right, your thoughts on it and what could potentially happen with him?
If there's a loan available, I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, it's better than what we got, I'll tell you that. No, I think he should come back to the Premier League on loan if he's going to come back. But I think he'd be best to avoid Villa. There's no dig at Villa. It's just what Ant's been saying about the didn't work before with him up front. He might not get game time. I was thinking about it while you're sort of discussing other things, and I think someone like maybe Spurs. Maybe someone like maybe even Everton, like it could be a good fit. I just think a team with a philosophy of good attacking football, where it gets into the box and it all falls a bit flat because there's not that last man to finish it. Like almost what Man United need, that out and out number 9. And I think he could do a job for many, many Premier League sides. I've always highly rated John Duran, and I don't have any issue with his slight bit of attitude. Again, I think it's a bit needle. I think it's good. I think it's passion. And yeah, I think it'd be a great sign to come back to any top side. I mean, he could even do a job for Arsenal. Imagine Arsenal, who had no striker all last season, really, having him up front for the last half of the year. I reckon they'd have gained 10 points from it at least.
Seems like everyone's after a number 9 in the Premier League, doesn't it? Really?
It's so true. There's so many clubs after a top striker. Yeah.
I'm willing to stick my neck out for Beto to carry on, and I was slating him earlier on in the season, but the second half of the season, he's missed chances in games, but we do need somebody else. But we've also got Yusuf Chimiti there, who was highly touted. He was at Sporting Lisbon years before. He's never had a fair shout, that lad, and he's still young. So I wonder. And then it's the Calvert-Lewin scenario. Is he going? Isn't he going? Me personally, I think he's got to go. The wages are too high. And he's just out all the time. You know, the only time he was fit was when Dyche was there. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, like you say, everyone's looking at 9s, aren't they?
Well, there's Ekitike, there's Mateta, there's Victor Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen. And all of them are going to move somewhere this summer. Like they're all going to get a move. They're all going to end up in a new club. And I think most of them, I think, will be in the Premier League. To be honest, I really do. I think we're going to see some influx of some top players next season, which can only boost the Premier League. Like you were saying about players leave, like De Bruyne leaves a bit of a dent. We've got players coming in. Look at Man City signings. They've done Reinders. They've done Cherki, who I thought was very good in the Europa League. I watched a lot of Cherki, obviously, when we played him and for Leon. And then brought in another player. I can't remember who it is now. Bringing in so many. Aït-Nouri, sorry. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the Wolves guy. Yeah, Aït-Nouri.
They're getting him for dirt cheap as well. Like, it's crazy. They've not overpaid at all. Reinders was touted. I've watched loads of him. And look at Aït-Nouri every week for Wolves, consistent. So City are strengthening. Because
we had a link to Out Nori about a year ago, and I thought I was really hoping it wasn't going to happen. He's a really solid left wing back, and he's a left wing back. He's like the Amorim left wing back. He can get up and down. He can play like almost as a winger as well. So yeah, he's a very talented player, Out Nori. It's a good signing. They used Gardeval in left back, and he's not a left back, so it's a great upgrade.
Don't you guys feel a bit sorry for Wolves? Like, as a friend said to me, Wolves seem to be like an animal in Africa getting their carcass picked now because they've just lost 2 of their standout players of the season.
That ownership, that's been a problem for years now there. They've sold and sold and sold for years. Gary O'Neill got shafted. They were selling. That ownership is terrible there. You know, they've got to get the players in, but, you know, Pereira's come in and done a half-decent job. I know they slipped a little bit towards the end. They had a run, didn't he? They went 7 unbeaten. I think they went 6 in a row, didn't they? And then they dropped.
That's what kept them up, didn't it?
But I think they never have money coming back in with what they've sold. It's farcical to me, that club. I think it's like one arm tied behind your back if you're Pereira, I feel.
Am I right in saying they had Vitinha at one point?
Yeah, they did years ago. Yeah.
He's incredible player.
Yeah, it was when Nuno was there.
Mate, he's unreal. He literally, people kept going to me about Bacola, Doué, Dembele. I was like, take Vitinha out, and it don't matter about him. He makes that whole thing work. That whole team ticks through Vitinha if you watch it.
Definitely Nuno Mendes as well. He's been brilliant for him.
Oh, he's elite. He's unreal, that player.
So good. And Hakimi on the other side, brilliant. They were superb. They were superb. And just one more on Villa. A player from the midfield engine room. We were talking about FFP, PSR with Villa. There's talk of Boubacar Kamara going, but obviously he's got 2 years left, so you can make some money on him. But I think he's been brilliant in the engine room with Tielemans this past season, and it'd be a shame if he goes. He's a great player, superb talent.
Yeah, I saw this. I think he's quoted saying that he wants to play in the Champions League. So, of course, with that being said, and the fact that we need to make some money, I'd be gutted to lose him. I was saying to friends of mine, friends who don't watch Villa very often, and I said, he is our Rodri to Man City. That's how I view him. But unfortunately, he had the injury, so he was out for a little while. I think he came back a bit later in the season, and then he ended up having to play in defence because we had no defenders. They were all out injured, and he was playing in defence. It didn't really suit him. He's better in the midfield, but when he's in his usual spot, I do not want to lose him. I was telling Marie about it earlier, and she said, "Oh, that would be a massive blow to Villa, especially being in Europe." Again, it depends who we get, who we can sign to replace, but I don't want to lose him. Not when he's played really well for the club.
It's crazy. Like, again, what amount of money is going to come in? But again, there's 2 years on his contract. There's also, it'll have to be the right amount of money. It's not as if someone can come in looking at it. He's going to be, going on a free in 12 months. That's not the case, is it? Because you saw that with Mike Mannion at AC Milan. Chelsea were trying to broker a deal. They were only willing to offer 10 million because he had a year left. But in this case, I think you will get half decent money if he is to be sold. What do you think, Rai?
I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't know much about him. I've seen him play a couple of times. I mean, to me, you mentioned it, and he's like a Rodri. So in a United team, what is he, like a Casemiro or something, or a Ugarte? Is that type of player that he is?
Yeah, he goes back, he goes forward, he stays in the midfield, like as in he stops the ball getting as far back as the defenders. He gets it forward, he just stays in that middle part. Sometimes he does have to track back, like Rodri does.
Yeah.
But like I said, unfortunately, when we had the injuries, he was actually playing in defence. That was the only downside, and that was sort of the last few games, not the last half a dozen, but in just before we went on our bit of a winning run. So when we had the lull and we wasn't really looking like we were going to fight for Europe, it was unfortunately when he was in defence.
Is there rumours of so far of what sort of teams are in for him or would consider being in for him?
No, but like I said, I just saw online saying he wants to play in Champions League. So I suppose there'll be teams out there who are in the Champions League who probably scout him. He's still young enough. He's still got some years left in him yet. So.
We were linked with Kamara for probably 2 years before he went to Villa. We were heavily linked with him over the press for a long time. He was in France, wasn't he?
Yeah, because he's French.
Yeah, he was in France, and we were linked with him for a long, long time. Everyone was just like, "Oh, he's too young. You know, we need more proof and experience." That's why I think we got Casemiro in the end. So yeah, we were linked with this guy for a while. So I used to want to keep tabs on him a little bit. I know he's like a box-to-box DM type, but yeah, when he's been in the Prem, I might be where he's had so many injuries, because I do watch a lot of Prem, obviously not just United, but I haven't seen an awful lot of him to cast true judgment on this one.
You need your workhorses in the middle. If I'm going to attribute it to Everton, it's Idrissa Gueye in the middle. They don't get enough credit, if you ask me. We're all about, your wingers, your front three and all that, and the exciting side of it. But Idrissa Gueye, his stats alone, like you, where he's getting the ball back and all that, it's crazy. The amount of interceptions he gets.
He doesn't get goals and assists. He literally got a goal right at the end of the season.
I remember, yeah.
He doesn't get the goals and assists. And he just doesn't, like you say, he doesn't get the credit for the work that he does. And, when you look at player of the match, it never goes. It tends to go to someone who scored a couple of goals, or the keeper who's made a few penalty saves or something like that. You rarely find that it will go to the guy in the middle.
100%. I just wanted, just because we've got a brief amount of time left and we've got through the topics, I just wanted to say, what did you think about England-Senegal the other evening, lads? What are your thoughts on that? I know Tuchel's trying things out. It wasn't the first 11, essentially. It was a friendly. What did you take away from the game the other night? Because obviously they've been getting slated for it, but there's another 12 months till the World Cup yet. And, he's not been in the job that long, has he? And he's trying different things. Senegal wanted it more from minute one. I know Kane scored early on, but they were just at it from minute one, Senegal. But I don't know what you guys felt.
I didn't see much of it. I flicked it on. I think we was already at 1-1. I was watching something else. I didn't even, to be honest with you, because it was a friendly, I didn't even realise we were playing. And I flicked it on. I watched a little bit. Senegal looked hungry. I think I saw some of the transfers, some of the substitutions he was making, and I was thinking, why is Ivan Toney not coming on? Kane has gone off. Why is Ivan Toney not coming on in his place? And to see him coming on so late wasn't. I know, like you say, Tuchel's trying things, but we needed a number 9, didn't we, when Kane's gone? And Toney scored quite a few. I think it's 13 goals this season. But I did hear a lot of them have been penalties. So, but yeah, I get it. He's got to try things. The guys, we probably weren't that hungry because we know it's not an important game, but you still want to win. You should still want to win. These guys, most of them are playing in the Premier League, and they're knackered. They haven't had long enough of a break. I still don't see the point in friendlies. The cup games, the qualifiers, fine. We had one of them last week. I don't understand all these friendlies. The guys want to go on holiday, don't they?
It splits opinion. Friends of mine can't be doing with internationals. They just can't. I watch everything. That's just how I am. But I know people just haven't got time for it. They just want club football because we've got so much of it, of course. But I'm the other way. I don't mind it. It's fine. It's competitive. But the friendlies are daft, I think. What do you think, Rai, with England? What would you say?
I'm not a huge fan of international friendlies. Going back to Ant's point, though, you don't accept losing games because it doesn't matter. It's not mentality that you want to go and win a major tournament. And to just be honest, we were just absolutely awful. And also the game before that, against, was it Andorra?
Andorra, yeah.
I watched all of that one. It was absolutely appalling. We got one chance and took it. If we don't take that one chance, and when you score one, win 1-0, sometimes you look back and you think, there was 13 chances, and on another day we scored 7. That was our only chance to score, and we scored it, against Andorra. Cole Palmer doesn't know his role. He's just wandering around not knowing what he's doing. Bellingham just doesn't look bothered at all. Jordan Henderson was starting. That sums up the whole thing to me. He's been useless for years now, at top international competitive level. I just don't. I don't think, and I'm calling this very early, considering it's a year to the tournament, and we haven't really got anything more than friendlies to go on. But he's the wrong manager. I'm calling it now. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I was quite excited to get a proven foreign coach rather than having to have a British guy who ain't that good like Southgate. But Southgate at least had passion. And now you watch it, it comes across in the team. Like when Southgate was getting to finals, semi-finals, the team were believing, and they weren't coached that well, so we were never likely to beat the top teams. But it just wasn't any good, and I just think this lack of enthusiasm in Tuchel's game is rubbing off already on the players, and they're just walking around the pitch, and it's not enough. And the defence, everyone keeps going to me, "Oh, England have got great defence." We haven't. It's awful. Like Dan Burn, all due respect to him, he's not really an international footballer. Like he's a very good player for Newcastle, but Reece James is never out of a treatment room. Luke Shaw the same. Lewis Skelly to me is overrated. Georgie's going to kill me in the comments. But Lewis Skelly is overrated.
Don't set him off.
He's got a lot of potential, but he's not the proven article yet. He's not there yet. And I think Trent will start to drift off of international football now. He's not in the Premier League. Like there's a lot we've got to sort out in that team, an awful lot. We've got to build it around like people like Bellingham and Cole Palmer. And I even have a massive, massive soft spot for Morgan Rogers as well. I think he's a great player, and I think his energy is vital in that team. So Declan Rice has to play every single game. I see him missing lots of football. I don't know who the goalkeeper is, messing about with that when Pickford's done nothing wrong. Kane is the only proven recognised goal scorer, and he's like towards the end of his career. Ivan Toney's not good enough. Watkins isn't. I don't think a pure number 9. Like we just don't have a squad like people think we do. People go on paper, England are amazing, but look, break it down. We're actually not.
How Branthwaite's not in the squad, I don't know. He's in the
He's another decent player.
People are going to say he's going to be partial to him. I'll tell you right now, we'll get the stats up and all the rest of it. You're telling me he's not better than Levi Colwill. Levi Colwill's done all right at Chelsea. No disrespect, but he's not. Branthwaite's better already. He's by far and away better. If they're going to strengthen at the back, get Branthwaite in there. But I'm going to be
in the last two games, Stu, they had players playing like Dan Burn and I think it was Konsa. Is it Konsa? They played.
Trevor Chalobah played centre half.
Yeah, Chalobah. And there was no mention of Branthwaite or Tomori, who's a top player, or Harry Maguire. And I know Harry Maguire flops at United occasionally, but this season he was actually very good at United, one of our better defenders. And he's always done good for England. He's always put a shift in an England shirt, and he was nowhere near the team.
He's a great number 9 for United this season as well.
He was.
That big head of his. But again, there's a lot of food for thought going into that one. And I just want to say briefly about my Wales as well. A hell of a game the other evening. We were 3-0 down. Penalty just before half-time, 3-1. I said to one of the lads in work, I might put 4-3 Wales on here on a bet. And got it back to 3-3, of course. Had a great 20-25 minute spell. Just got caught out and they ended up scoring late on again. But a fantastic second half performance. Craig Bellamy, they've had a solid first 10 games under Bellamy. And, we haven't got the world-class player anymore, have we? We've got Harry Wilson, Brennan Johnson. They're having to play as a team. But, they were very unlucky the other evening after getting absolutely slaughtered early on in the first half.
Don't know if you can figure out why. I'm not a big fan of Brennan Johnson.
They broke a lot of hearts that night, didn't they?
We haven't got much choice, but he was in the 9 as well, which is better. He's better out wide, but it's just one of them. But they played. They did well. Just unfortunate towards the end. Switched off. Got caught out. It was just one of them things. But
look at the difference, though, Stu, with England and Wales in terms of quality on the pitch and the difference in effort levels and enthusiasm for the game. And that's what I'm talking about with Tuchel's tactics. Yeah. It's all relaxed. Like, look at like Bellamy, right? Player, hot head, energy, get in there, up, get sent off. Just an anger. Not even anger, just enthusiasm, just passion. And it's in his team. Look at Tuchel. He just stands there like a zombie. And then look at his team's performance. It's just relaxed. Nothing about it.
He's brought Sorba Thomas in. Robert Page used him sparingly. I always thought he could play. He had him at full-back, wing-back. He's up on the left wing as well. The ball's in the other night. He was brilliant on the left. Why he's ended up at Stoke, I don't know. He could play for one of the bottom-half Premier League teams. I've always said he can play, that lad. But he was at Huddersfield prior to that, and then he was at Nantes in France recently. He was brilliant in the second half. The ball's in, the quality, the energy on the left. Belgium couldn't cope with it. So there's a lot of lot of positives coming out of it. Macedonia are top of the group, which is a bit odd as it goes, but I think we can qualify. Albeit we might have to go through a playoff if we get second to Belgium.
I mean, they're likely to win the group, aren't they, of the Belgians, and then just go.
They say about an aging team, but they've got the young players coming through as well. Doku was brilliant the other night. They couldn't cope with him at the back, really. Every time it was panic mode, but they didn't get tight. They didn't learn. The one goal that got disallowed prior to the winning goal for Belgium, we didn't learn from the first one. It was the same goal, but on the other side, the way they did it. But yeah, food for thought, boys, on the internationals. So yeah, anything to add before we go?
Just about you was on about Andorra game. I'm hoping for a better second leg because I'm actually going to that game because it's at my Villa Park.
Oh well,
6th of September, I think it is.
Well, I say enjoy it. You'll enjoy it if they play better.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, anything to add, mate, before we go?
Yeah, final one, just to actually ask Ant a direct question regarding transfers and Villa. What's your thoughts on rumoured, links taking Martinez away from Villa?
I don't want him to go. I mean, you was talking about the master of shithousery earlier. That is the master. Like, I will never boo him in another team. Like, I love the guy. He's kept us in it so many times. I know every keeper makes a bit of a blunder, and there's that last game when he got the red card. I think a moment of madness. He probably wanted to go home early, but yeah, it's going to be a massive blow.
There was immediate rumours starting up after that, wasn't there? That he was on United's transfer list because he was. We've been linked to a 40 million move if we can move out Onana. To me, I think if you signed Emi Martinez for 50, 60 million, you'd be getting a bargain. I think he's an absolutely classic, as you say, shithouse with all the antics and the Argentina-France game and all the rest of it. But no, he's just proven, isn't he, as a top player, proven Premier League goalkeeper. He's got the confidence. Someone saying he's not going anywhere. Cutting me down already.
Wife's involved, and we all know when the wife gets involved, that's what's happening. You get told by the wife, that's it.
She obviously doesn't want to leave Birmingham, then. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it would shock me based on the fact he seems to be waving goodbye on the final day, but we'll wait and see what happens there.
He was very emotional on the final day.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was thinking of Saudi or something. Maybe she's made him change his mind. Apparently, Bruno's wife and family put their foot down on Saudi. Bruno Fernandes, he was very strongly considering that 875 grand a week deal. I mean, who wouldn't? And apparently, when he said he stayed at United, it was a family decision. They just didn't want to do Saudi.
It's nice seeing players turning it down because everyone was like, everyone was going. People were going, weren't they? It was, not many people were rejecting going there, were they? But now it's becoming more and more common, isn't it?
They need to, don't they? If they're still in their younger years and their primes, we need to start seeing more and more turning it down. It can be a retirement home, but let's not take our best players out of the top 5 leagues and take them to Saudi Arabia. Let's not do that.
Absolutely. Lads, thank you so much for coming on. So Ryan, Man United fan, on for his second appearance, and Aston Villa fan on for his 4th appearance. We will have Mr. George Bucher on next week. Arsenal fan, he will be on with us next week, and you guys will get you on very, very soon again. The Club World Cup obviously begins over the weekend. Rise face says it all.
I can't wait. I mean, I can't wait to see us not playing it. So
more football, more club football, no breaks for them. They won't need a pre-season, that's for sure. They'll be rested, I'm sure, off the back of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see 3 or 4 games a day as well, but obviously silly times with the American time zone. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But thank you, lads. Thank you very, very much. And we'll see you all for episode 65 of Football Then and Now, a nostalgic look at football. And we also take on the modern day football as well with stories and the latest news. Take care, everybody. All the best.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Football Then and Now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us.